First and foremost, Barry isn't dead, you guys. He's not dead. That wasn't him in the morgue drawer on that cooling board. And I'm sure that this must have been a huge weight off of Richard's shoulders. I was sitting here rooting for Richard. I was really relieved right along with him, right? But it was the other news that Richard got right after this that had me shook. And this news actually sent him back into a state of shock, worry, and depression. And I guess I shouldn't be laughing, but nasty old lion ass. She had to do it, but we'll get to her in a minute. And all these items that they found, they were found inside of Barry's car with his name all over the registration, the tag, tax tag and title. So it was at this point that Richard just simply asked, look, man, I need you to help me find my son. And he was last seen going back to that cult in Rockaway, Virginia. So he's a little sick and tired of asking Sam, his friend, his buddy, his pal, aka Barry's godfather, to help find Barry. Y'all know Sam been looking for Barry for 3 seasons? And he still got men, quote unquote, on the inside at the compound. So yeah, we hear you, Richard. We hear you. So after this, Richard went back to Nancy's room. And this is when she told him that the doctor said that she's well enough to go home. But after she told Richard what she told him, he didn't even want to take her home at that point. But she had to tell Richard the truth, which is what she should always do, but she waited damn near 30 years too late. Nancy tends to do this from time to time, and Richard couldn't even be happy for 10 minutes about the fact that their son was alive, but Nancy was holding on to more secrets. And I knew that based on the synopsis that her big reveal was going to be about Barry or Richard's dad. And lo and behold, she spilled the beans. She let the cat out of the bag. She opened the Pandora's box, blew the whistle. Well, you get it, right? She told Richard that she was ready to go home, sleep in her own bed so that she could get up and cook. So these are things that Nancy was doing before she went to the compound and got all that dope from the highest. So Richard was beginning to feel a sense of normalcy, right? He started gazing into her eyes like little lovesick teenagers. He told her how special she was to him. Now, then this woman, she's going to open her mouth and say, even though I had sex with your daddy, mic drop. You can hear a rat pee on cotton. It was so quiet in that hospital room. But she didn't stop there. She went on to tell Richard how good his dad was in bed, even better than him. So at this point, Richard tried to stop her, shut her up, because at this point she was being outright disrespectful. So she felt like she wanted to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and told him that the only reason that the dad broke it off with her is because he didn't want to hurt Richard when he came back from the military. She said that the only reason that she settled for Richard when he got back was just so that she could be around his dad. Lord have mercy. Y'all, they could have ended the show right there for me. I just wanted to grab a tall glass of Merlot with ice in it, of course, and just sulk. Man, what? I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock that this woman is just unbelievable to me. He called Priscilla and said, come get your friend. Come get your friend. She down here spilling all kinds of tea, and I just can't take it no more. I'm out. So Priscilla agreed to come and pick her up. And Nancy ain't 100% back to her first mind yet, right? So she has to be kept under careful watch so that they don't find her on the back of the closet door again. Now this woman been holding this in for all these years and ain't said not a mumbling word. And even though it was a long time ago, this is still hurtful and unforgiving. And there's something else that's unforgiving, and that's Sam's cheating ass. Priscilla, she had to take it to the streets for Sam because apparently he thought that she was playing when she told him not to come back to her house. Sam stuck his chest out, cussed her out, made all kinds of demands, threats, talking about what he gonna do, what she can't do, and wash his clothes and stay away from all these other triggers. Priscilla was like, okay, Sam, all right, since you can't stop effing around with this witch Victoria, I'm gonna make these goons whip your ass till you see that I ain't playing with you. When I say not to come back to my house. And she's acting like this is not Sam's house too, right? But Sam's got the memo this time, and he's going to ignore her at work too. And this is what I've been saying all along. He needs to give this situation time to breathe. Now, even though it's been, 2 seasons for us, it's just like the weekend for them. Like the time doesn't pass in real time, so Sam just need to fall back and give her space no matter how long this takes. And speaking of real time, Hunter didn't stay in a coma for long, right? It's like Donald said in the trailer, he's up like he just had a hangover or a small headache or something. Hunter is up out of the bed and ready to get back to business. When he regained consciousness for like a minute, the doctor told him what had happened and that Eli had been sworn into office, and this sent his blood pressure to the bottom of the bunker where they're holding Simone. His blood pressure dropped so fast he was out again, down for the count. And the next time that we saw him, he was standing in his bedroom, still in his infirmary clothes and a black robe, watching the fake corn act that Victoria and Eli were performing on his side of the bed. And I broke this scene down in my first reactions video that I posted last night right after the show. And if you haven't had a chance to catch it, I'll leave it linked right here and below, pinned to the comments. So not to give too much of it away, there's not much more to tell because this is where the episode ended. And we're going to get his reaction next week. And I hope that scary Eli was man enough to pull himself from underneath the covers. I'm so sick of him. But right before Hunter came in, they were reminiscing on Jason and his situation, and Eli still has to put a solid plan together for Simone. And I thought that the plan was pretty tight, whereas she's going to, be away with the kids and then suffer this horrible accident. But I guess now he has to figure out the when and the how. Like he knows what the end is going to be, so he just got to connect all the dots somehow. And Victoria told him to give her just a little bit more time so that she can think it through so that they can move on with being together and becoming this new power couple. This woman is so delusional, it's unbelievable. And in this next part, Alonzo confessed to Donald that he stole the dope from the pharmacy. And he told him that he wanted to hold on to the coke that was laced with fentanyl so that he'd have some for Hunter when he needed it. Alonzo got tired of wearing them wigs. Going down to the hood. So he figured that if he stole a lot of it, that he could just stash it away at the White House and not have to go too far to get it. He told Donald that he gave the dope back to Alan so that he could return it to the pharmacy. Now Donald is able to put two and two together, that things just have gone terribly wrong on so many levels. He called Alan, and Alan of course didn't pick up. So he sent Alonzo to go and look for him. And we all know that Alan is incapacitated, held up, bamboozled. No, I ain't going down that rabbit hole again. But he is in jail trying to make a deal with this bunkie to keep him from killing him. He offered the bunkie $300,000 while, he probably don't have $300,000 for real. But Alan said that he could get it, but he doesn't believe him. Then the bunkie started getting sick all of a sudden. He's got anxiety, having his panic attack or something. And he said that he needed to lay down to get in the mind space that he needs to take somebody's life. Okay, I'm gonna leave that right there where it is. But then I guess Alan just grew tired and he began to get a little loopy and paranoid himself, just like Bunky. He told Bunky, look, come on with it. Let's just get it over with. Show me what you got. Let's go. So the Bunky lunged at him and he started poking through that pillow that Alan was using as a shield. And Alan beat the brakes off of him. Much to my surprise, he had him for a minute and then they, cut to commercial. And while Bunky getting the brakes beat off of him, Antonio kidnapped Dale from Kareem's hospital room and took him back to the pharmacy. Now, even though Antonio knows that Alonzo stole the dope, they were still left with the overdoses, not only from the president, which they really didn't know anything about yet because they're waiting to announce Eli's presidency for the press conference tomorrow. So Antonio made Dale pull all the names of the customers who picked up prescriptions from that box underneath the counter. And after Dale read off all the names, Antonio knew that they had all overdosed on the medicines, right? That was picked up right from that box. So he knows that now it's just a matter of time before the cops are all over the place looking for whoever filled those prescriptions. So in his panic, Antonio took a snapshot of a nervous Dale. This scene was quite funny. And the way that Dale was acting, I don't know. I swear Dale is just the dumb blonde of the show all the time. He made a phone call and told the person on the other end that Dale is the one who mixed the dope and tried to kill Kareem. Then he apologized to Dale and told him that he was sorry, but they were coming after him. That was classic. Dale don't need to be in no more trouble. He just came to Washington to get away from the lifestyle in Virginia, get away from his parents, and get away from the judgment. And he's been in trouble ever since. And he ain't really did nothing. He ain't did anything at all. But he seems to be in the most trouble. And there are a couple of other small scenes that didn't really lend much to the plot, nor did it take anything away, where Donald reduced Lily down to a nothing of a woman. And there was also a scene with the usual banter between Kyle and Max. And overall, this was a decent episode. Tyler never ceases to amaze us with jaw-dropping nuances with Halsons. And we now have some new drama and suspense with Eli and Victoria. So if you can't already tell, this was a winning episode for me. And what I liked about this episode is where Dale was being accused of mixing the dope. That was the best scene in my opinion. And there wasn't too much that I didn't like about the episode. It was pretty good. Just more of the show and not tell. Where Priscilla, where she told us that she told Sam and us that the men in her house were goons. Like, we could see that, right? We didn't necessarily need to be told that, but it didn't kill the scene or anything. It just didn't add anything to it. Again, show us, don't tell us. And that was it, you guys. Have you gotten a chance to watch the episode 4 yet? If you did, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And I had to keep doing this part over because I was trying to eat one of those oatmeal cream pies. Is it cream pie or just oatmeal pie? I don't know. I'm sleepy, y'all. And I got rehearsal in about an hour, so y'all pray for me. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, you guys. And I'll see you on the next one.